Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll invite, if anybody is in the lobby, to come on in and join us. And our service begins with the words of Shalom Aleichem, welcoming in Shabbat. And you can follow along in the prayer books, which you can find under your seat, or on the visual tefillah right up here.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharek, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borechem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. לכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. יאי לי לי, יאי לי
Once again, Shabbat Shalom. It is so good to be together. It's a little chilly in here, but I know that our voices and being together in community will, of course, help warm it up, right? So to begin this Shabbat, we start with lighting our Shabbat candles, and to do so, I'll invite the families of, or the parents of our B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow to join us on the Bima, the Nessens and the Millers.
As we light these Shabbat candles, we link ourselves with the generations of our people who have kindled these holy flames. Time passes quickly, and we take this moment to pause and express our gratitude. We stand here with humility and with love for this occasion, for one another, and for being a part of this sacred community.
As we participate in this age-old ritual, we embrace this moment as we move forward in the cycle of our lives. Yesterday, we held our children in our arms, and tomorrow they will be called to the Torah as B'nai Mitzvah. These Shabbat candles not only remind us of the joy of this occasion, but help us to see the light within one another and the strengths that each of us possesses. Grateful for all the precious gifts in our lives, we kindle the Sabbath lights.
Use that one. You can just pick up the whole thing. Go. And you can get the next one. Keep going. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel We continue in our prayers with the words of the Charodi as we continue welcoming in Shabbat. ושמו אחד ושמו תפארת ותהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה הנה שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך מילה לך דודי לקראת כלה הנה שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עצרת בלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני המסגולה בואי חלה בואי קלה לך דודי לקראת כלה הנה שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה הנה שבת
Continuing with our liturgy, I invite you to rise for the Baruch Hu, page 146.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ולילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא שמו
המעריב ערבים.
We continue reading responsively In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world.
In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai,
Shemo.
Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. הוסף ונאמר כי בדרו נא את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל
Give us a place to rest, O God. Bring us shelter in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence, we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth and prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'poreh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
I invite you to rise for the blessings of the Amidah, page 155, if you're following along in the prayer book.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Koneh Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Me'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol, Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mechalkel Chaim Mechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofe Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umito Melach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ve'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yehalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. And at this point in our service, we turn our thoughts and our prayers to those who are in need of healing. This Shabbat, we're praying for the healing of Cindy Baker, Emil Batat, Emily Berkowitz, Ada Barbara Corvelli, Alfred Marcus, Melissa Miller, Wayne Pole, Gerard Roos, and Audra Gail Weiss. And of course, to those names, we add all those that you're praying for this evening. If there's someone that you are praying for the healing of, I invite you to share their name with the community if you feel so inclined, and your relationship to the person. Prayers for healing. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals the sick.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And from the healing of the body, we turn to the healing of our world, praying for an abundance of peace. Peace in our lives, peace for our family, our friends, our community, and one day we pray peace across the world. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et samcha Yisrael.
As we turn or get ready to turn to a moment of silent prayer this evening, I want to leave you with a little bit of a snapshot of something that brought me a lot of hope, a lot of joy, a lot of gratitude this week. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity and the honor, as it always is, of spending a large amount of my day with our preschoolers, with our 3 and our 4-year-olds. They were celebrating Israel Day in honor of Yom HaAtzmaut. And the station that I was at with them, they kind of traveled around the synagogue doing different activities, is I was with them in our new, or what will soon be our new community gardens, our mini TBJ kibbutz of sorts. I was teaching them a little bit about what it means for something to come from the earth, for us to help it grow, to nurture it, and watching their little hands digging in soil, their brains wondering and discovering what it means for something to go from a seed to a flower, to a plant, to a vegetable. It had me hopeful. It had me curious. It had me full of joy. And it's just an image I want to leave you with. We'll take just a moment of silent prayer.
May the my rock,
and my Redeemer.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So, during their wanderings in the desert after the exodus from Egypt, the Jewish people used flags to signify which tribe they were a part of. It was a symbol of their identities and the camp in which they belonged to. According to a midrash, which is a book that kind of fills in the gaps of the Torah, each tribe had a flag that corresponded to one of the 12 precious stones of the breastplate of Aaron, the Kohen Gadol, the priest. So it was no surprise that at the rise of the Zionist movement, before Israel was anywhere near statehood, the leaders of Zionism, too, created a flag to represent who they were and what they stood for. And that flag is what eventually morphed into the official flag of the State of Israel. And this, which is right over here, is the combination of blue and white as the colors of the flag was derived from a 1980s poem called Judah's Colors by Austrian Ludwig August Frankel, who explained that the blue symbolized the splendors of the firmament and the white represented the radiance of the priesthood. The blue stripes on the Zionist flag were also inspired by the stripes of a traditional talit. They provided religious and ritual symbolism of Jewish life, guided by the precepts of the Torah, and the Star of David reflected the unity of the Jewish people. So that's what the flag kind of is in history. But what does the flag represent now? Share a few images here. I think a flag can represent celebration, which we see some of here. It represents protest, which we definitely see. The flag can represent mourning and memory. The flag, it's maybe on the side of this plane, can represent freedom. This image coming from the archives of Operation Ezra and Nehemiah in the early 1950s that brought Iraqi Jews to Israel. But either way, this is the flag of Israel. And any symbol, as the multiple perspectives I just offered, can have a complex dichotomy. And the Israeli flag emulates what it truly means to have chasms of difference amongst one people, amongst our people. And it represents the dichotomy that at this moment and often is Israel. It's no secret what's been going on there the last few months. Rabbi Wirtz spoke about it from this pulpit, and just last week, the Cantor Fishbein and the rest of our musical team offered a beautiful sermon and song. But with all of that, the dichotomies that Israel continues to present us with are intrinsically tied to the holidays observed in the land of Israel this week. First, holding the solemn day of Yom HaZikaron, of Memorial Day. And we hold that next to the celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day. Israel's Memorial Day is the saddest day in the Israeli calendar, with the purpose to acknowledge that Israelis owe the independence and the very existence of the Jewish state to the soldiers who sacrificed their lives for it. It's a day that impacts everyone, because everyone there is connected to military life. It's a day that feels like mourning. Places that are celebratory are closed. There are public ceremonies of remembrance, TVs and radio broadcasts programming around the themes of mourning and memory. And most notable, a siren during which the entire nation observes a 2-minute standstill of all daily activity occurs. And all of this is followed the very next day by the ultimate difference. A few minutes after sundown on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, there's a ceremonial switch. A flag is raised from the half-mast all the way to the top, and Israelis go from a day of mourning to a day of celebration. A day of festivities, song, dance, food, festivals. It's the ultimate day of pride for who and what Israel not only has been the past 75 years, but what Israel is to become in the next 75. So this is one polarity in itself. An ultimate day of mourning to an ultimate day of celebration. But there are other polarities that exist during this time of celebration. Israel reached her 75th year, a miracle of sort. The miracle is that amidst all of her challenges, Israel's success is bound in fulfilling the promise of offering an unquestioned home, freedom, and haven for Jewish refugees and immigrants around the world for the last century. At the same time, we talk about dichotomy, there's the looming nature of judicial reform that is still present around us without any major breakthroughs yet. We hope they're coming in the next weeks, but this will continue to shake Israeli society and put the rights of many Israelis at risk. Some of those very freedoms and protections that all Jews are supposed to be afforded in the land of Israel are in jeopardy and contradict the miracle that Israel stands on. This dichotomy shows up as protesters against the judicial reform, disappointed with their government, flood the streets. But once again, the next day, those same protesters often will morph again into the opposite, into celebration, as they too, even with Israel's flaws, recognize the beauty of 75 years of independence. They hold the love they have for their country with the value of holding their government accountable. So there are many chasms of difference here. But I believe these differences are part of what makes Israel so holy. It makes Israel sacred and special to us as a people. Our Torah portion this week is a double portion. It's Acharimot Kedoshim. And the second part of it is focused on holiness. It's the holiness code that instructs us how to be close to God. The text of Leviticus 19 teaches us that you shall surely rebuke your kinsmen. And then directly after that, to love your fellow as yourself. So those two lines again, offering quite the dichotomy. You are to rebuke. We are commanded by Torah to rebuke when it's appropriate, what we call in Hebrew as tochacha. That gentle rebuke is that spoken frankness that brings to light a way for one to better themselves. The book of Proverbs teaches us that those who rebuke find favor and a good blessing falls upon them. So we have that instruction, but then immediately after, just the next verse, it's followed by love your fellow or love your neighbor as yourself. So first we're commanded to rebuke our people, and then we're commanded to love our people. and remembering that this is all within the context of holiness. So if you think back, is there a moment where you have shown rebuke and then followed it with love? Of course there is, because rebuke is not hate. It's not a closed door. It's not unforgivable. We likely do it more than once, right? With children or parents, with coworkers. We push back, but we follow it up with love. So many people have asked in the past months, how can we celebrate Israel at a time when we feel so disappointed? As we navigate the confusion of celebrating Israel's 75th with the concern of what the democratic future of Israel holds, we can learn from our text that holiness often isn't without that same confusion and without that same complication. Rebuke can be holy, and love can be holy. There's a midrash in which it says, a love without reproof is no love. Reproof leads to peace. A peace where there has been no reproof is no peace. So these dichotomies don't feel so different when we put them in the context of holiness, because they're all working towards the same thing, a love of Israel. As we go back to those Israeli flags and raise them up, we might just be able to see that waving it in protest, waving it in celebration, waving it in pride, are not all that different after all. Because waving an Israeli flag at all is done with a sense of holiness. So as we close this chapter of this week, known as the Israeli High Holy Days, may we hold on to that sense of holiness, that sense of sanctity for Israel, to mourn, to celebrate, to rebuke, to defend, and of course, to love. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And with that, we'll turn to our liturgy for the words of Aleinu, and I'll invite you to please rise, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
And as I mentioned this week, we observed Yom HaZikaron, Israeli Remembrance Day. So we take a moment to acknowledge that, remembering all those who have given their lives for the safety and security of their country. And we now come to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, the words that honor the lives of those in our families and our communities who we have lost. We're in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning, remembering Doris Walter, mother of Ira Walter and Susan Adler. We remember Goldie Rosenhan Morchauer, wife of the late Donald Morchauer and mother of Matthew Morchauer. We're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, remembering Beverly Claire Schwartz, Leonard Garner, James Tophius, Gloria Fleischner, Marcy Goldsmith, and Geraldine Silverman. It's the yard site, the anniversary of the passing of Isaac Beck, Barbara Paley Belzy, Louis Danzig, Sam S. Dreyfus, Emmanuel Dreyfus, Elsie Finkler, Tina Foreman, Sadie R. Forster, Fred Freeman, Louis Green, Sarah Mann Green, Joel L. Gutterman, Stanley B. Hausman, Ada Paul Heller, Minna Khan, Minnie Steinloff Khan, Sophie Kamler, Nathaniel King, William Levine, Abraham Lewis, Lisi Marks, Leah Marachnik, Kenneth Paul Miller, Robert Gary Miller, Naomi D. Nass, Harold David Oderman, Max Pickard, Marcia Pollock, Harold J. Prager, Marjorie King Racklin, Ruth Rebenfeld, Helen Feit Ricklin, Martha Sachs, Joseph Schaefer, Robert Schechter, Judith Selvin, George J. Senk, Dr. Ian Lawrence Silver, Stuart Simon, Jack Small, Emma V. Sommer, Bertha Strauss, Ethel Straver, Olga Jacoby Van Maupes, Ida S. Vollenhover. And we acknowledge with heavy hearts the names of those killed by gun violence in the past week in our country. Ralph Conquest of Trenton, New Jersey, Beatrice Maxine Knight of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Secret Pierce of Hartford, Connecticut. And we'll rise as one sacred community as we recite the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Please be seated. And a couple of announcements before we continue on with closing our service. You can take a look at your orders of worship. There's lots happening here over the next few weeks as we reach spring and start to slow down our program year, I'll say. Just a couple things to note. Sunday, Cantor Stahl is teaching a class in honor of our 175th from Newark to Short Hills, Part 1, about the history of this congregation. It starts at 9:45. And then two other things. Friday, May 12th is the installation of Cantor Fishbein as senior cantor. It's going to be a really exciting evening. We encourage you to join us. And lots more. I'll say that, as I mentioned earlier, our community garden is ready to go. If you have an interest in being involved, please let me know. It's a really fun project that we're starting here. But before all of that, of course, we have two really incredible young people becoming B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow, so I'll invite them to join us on the bima for Kiddush and Motzi. And you guys can come up here. And what I will hand to you, if you can help, is the Kiddush cups that are not just for you to use tonight, but a gift for you from TBJ's Women's Association and Brotherhood in honor of this day. And we hope that you don't just use it now, but for many, many joyous occasions to come. So we'll let you take it away.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava, uv'ratzon, hilanu, zikaron, lema'aseh, v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila, lemikra'e kodesh, zeher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodsheha, be'ahava uv'ratzon, hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Those with you, take this with you. And tomorrow will be incredible for both of you, and an early mazel tov to you and your families. And we'll close out our service this evening with
The words of Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace for us, for Israel, and for all the world. We sing together. Oseh Shalom b'Roma, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Oseh Shalom b'Roma, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Yalalai, yalalai, Oseh Shalom b'Roma, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.